Welcome to the PuriFi unboxing and setup video. Your device will arrive in a box similar to this one. I've gone ahead and removed the tape. Let's open the box and see what's inside. The first thing you'll see are the instructions on setting up your device right here. If something is not clear or you need additional information, scan this QR code to see this exact video. Inside of the box, you will find your brand new PuriFi device. It looks like this once it's unpacked. There is a power adapter inside for powering your unit, and also a network cable for connecting it to your router. Now that we've covered all of that, it's time to move on to the next step, setting up PuriFi. Now that we've unboxed the device, it's time for us to set it up. First thing I'm going to do is connect it to power. We'll give it a minute, and in the meantime, let's talk about the rest of the equipment. You will have an internet cable going from your modem into the router. The router itself can be any make or model. This cable right here is the important part. This will be the same for everyone. If you have one of these, your network is compatible with PuriFi. Let's see if the device has booted up. Yes, it has. It is now ready for us to move on. Let's take the internet cable, remove it from the router, and plug it into the PuriFi device. If we did this correctly, the red arrow will disappear just like that, and the earth will light up. Next, we will use the cable that was included in the box. We're going to take this end and plug it into where the other cable was previously. Next, we'll take the other end and plug it into the PuriFi device. If we did everything correctly, we will see the router light up right here, the flow of particles, and the device will tell us that it's ready to pair. Next, we'll take our phone, open the PuriFi app, sign in, and pair the device with our account. First, press Add Device. Wait for it to find it, then press Continue. Next, it will check if our internet connection is okay. Everything looks good, so now let's press Register Device. Registration is complete, and the device is now linked to our account. You will see how it no longer says ready to pair. Now the device needs a few minutes to configure itself for our network. It will also download the latest updates along with the newest block list so that your protection is up to date. We will first see the disco ball on the device light up. From this moment on, we are fully protected. Every single device on our network is ad-free, tracker-free, and threat-free. There it is, the mobile device is now all caught up and synchronized with our device. You can pause the protection anytime with this button right here. So now that we know how to physically connect the device to our equipment, we will film an unedited, uncut video showing all the features of PuriFi. First, let's go back to the very beginning and just plug the device into power. There we go. Now while we wait for it to boot up, I'll explain the setup that we have right here. In the middle, we have a device that will be connected to the network that's protected by PuriFi. On the right, we have our control device, which we will be using to demonstrate what happens when a device is not protected by PuriFi. It's on a completely different network. Our device has booted up. We can see that the earth has lit up, which means it's already connected to the internet. Now we just have to wait for our router to start communicating with the device. This can take anywhere from 30 seconds up to a few minutes. It really depends on the type of router you have at home. We can see that right now neither of our networks are protected, so neither of our devices is protected. This means that they're completely exposed to all sorts of ads, trackers, analytics, you name it. Not a situation we would normally want to be in. The router has lit up on the device. We can see the flow of particles resembling our internet traffic as well as the ready to pair label. That means it's now time to open up our PuriFi app and sign in and pair the device. First, you will be met with the login screen. You can either continue with your Google account, with your Apple account, or create a PuriFi account. For this demo, I will be using my Apple account. Login went smoothly, and we will now see our PuriFi animation for the first time. There's our disco ball, the PuriFi logo, the earth on the left, signifying our internet connection, and the router on the right representing our network. Between them is the flow of particles simulating our internet traffic. Right now we're in demo mode because there is no device connected to the account. As you can see, PuriFi will identify and shoot down all bad particles before they ever reach your network. You can also tap them for fun. If you want to shoot them down manually, it's possible. We have a device right here, so actually let's do the pairing. Swipe up, tap Add Device. Wait for it to find your device. There it is. Press Continue. It's going to check to make sure our internet connection is okay. Press Register Device. And there we go, it's as easy as that. So right now, all we have to do is wait for the device to configure itself for our network. This could take probably a couple of minutes. Right now, the device is updating itself, downloading the latest block list so that you can have the most up-to-date and best protection possible. First, we will see the disco ball on the device light up, and shortly after, the mobile app will do the same. As soon as that happens, we will have a big privacy win right away. Our traffic will no longer be processed in the cloud, handing over our data to a third-party corporation that can see, collect, and sell it. Right now, after the protection is turned on, all of the traffic will be processed inside of our home, leaving the middleman out. Before, there was nothing to stop ads, trackers, and threats from entering your home. Ads in all of your content, trackers monitoring all of your devices, and threats posing a real danger. As we can see on the device's display, PuriFi's protection has come online. From now on, ads, trackers, and threats can no longer make it into your network. The phone has caught up and the pairing is complete. So first thing, let's see what changed in terms of our protection levels. So I would like to say that simply due to how networking works, some of our changes throughout the video might not go into effect right away. For example, we might not get the full 100% protection right here, but with time it will improve, and we're talking minutes rather than hours. So let's run the test here and see what it says. Okay, perfect. So we got our 96% protection right away. Couldn't ask for more than that. So now let's go back to the app and see the settings of our device. So right now you can see that we have 3 protection levels for ad and privacy protection and 3 for security. Let's focus on ads first. Well, let's go over to our Safari browser and open up some news websites. We'll demonstrate what it's like if you have PuriFi and what it's like when you don't. So I'm gonna go to the top of the page here and let's just refresh it. Oh man, are you kidding me right now? So we're going to try Reuters first. Let's see what that's like. On the right side here, as you can see, you already have some weird ad popping up right there, blocking the screen. Here you have another huge ad. Look at that. It's basically the full page. You of course don't have any of that on the machine with PuriFi. And with the ads, of course, trackers are also being blocked. So that's the first website we checked. Let's look at something like maybe CNN. Let's take a look at CBS. So ad automatically pops up here and at the top while the normal video is playing on the device on the left. We're watching an ad on the right. Oof, more disgusting ads that you don't see here. Well, look at that nose hair. 12 things to do. So this is what an article looks like with PuriFi, and this is what an article looks like without PuriFi. Next, let's look at some recipe websites. Here's some beef stew. I think these two are the same. Okay, so on the left here, again, no ads, and on the right, we can see ads everywhere. They're blocking us from reading the recipe. And this doesn't only work in your browser, it also works in all of your apps. So if we open, for example, the news app, we can see that, let's see, if we can find 2 of the same articles. Let's see AP News. I guess both of these articles come without ads by default. Let's look at another one. So if we look at this one right here, so there's an ad for you, there's another ad for a third time, and you get the idea. There's some more ads. So that's what the ads look like. Next, let's go back to PuriFi. Let's see here. So what should we test out next? Let's test the security level. So here I will go to a phishing email on both devices, and we can take a look at what happens when a device is protected by PuriFi and when one is not. So I'm going to try to open the same phishing email for both devices. And as you can see on the left, it correctly blocked the website. On the right, we actually see something very concerning. It says I have been hacked, so we'll just close that right away. And we can try the same for phishing text messages. So here I have two text messages. We'll open them up on both phones. On the left, it's correctly blocked, and on the right, it's asking for my financial information. So we'll close both of those. Let's go back to the app. If you're not satisfied with your protection levels, if you're seeing too many things being blocked, or you're not seeing certain content that you normally would, you can always lower the protection levels to something less. For me, aggressive and maximum works perfectly, but if for some reason you can't use the internet like you were able to before, all you have to do is just size down. But I personally have not heard of this happening with anybody that's been using the device. So after we make a change, it takes about a minute for the database to get rebuilt and have our updated protection. There you go. So now we're at balanced and enhanced instead of aggressive and maximum. So maybe if now, just to go back and to demonstrate what it looks like, if we go back to our test here, we scored 96% last time. Let's rerun the test and see how it changed. Yep, now we'll get 89%, so 7% less. Perfect. Let's move on here. So let's go to the Advanced Security tab. This is going to be more for advanced users. There are a lot of cool features here if you know how to use them, but I'll just show you something that everybody can understand. So there are two things. One are called URL shorteners, which can hide any sort of malicious thing. The other one are suspicious domains. So instead of .com, some website that ends in .xyz. This could be great if you have kids or someone older in the household that opens everything, whether it's safe or not. This is a good way to protect them. So we're going to wait for our database to rebuild once again. There it is. It was a little faster this time. So we're going to go over to a link here. That is a shortener. So this is something where you have absolutely no idea what's actually behind the link. Let's click it. Let's see what happens. Alright, well there you go. It does not open. Whereas without the protection, that would open without a problem. And if we go into, if we try to open something like, let's see, abc.xyz, which is actually Google's website, and it opens perfectly on any phone, just like it does here. So on the PuriFi device, because it is an unconventional domain name, .xyz will be blocked. So now let's move on to content controls. This is another feature where you can network-wide block people from using certain things. So for our purposes, we'll do gambling and we'll do social media networks to demonstrate the effects that it has. We will wait for the database to rebuild once again. This is very useful if you have children or if you don't use, for example, piracy sites at all. There's no reason for you to be on them. There is also something called SafeSearch, which forces all the websites like Google, YouTube into safe mode so that, kids can't look up things they're not supposed to. So now let's test this feature out. It works both for the apps and the websites themselves. So if I try to open Instagram here, it is not going to open. If I try to open something like DraftKings, which was working before, I'll refresh it, and here, as you can see, DraftKings will not open. Let's look at the app themselves. So let's look at the app of DraftKings. Oh, something went wrong. Can't log in. If you're a gambling addict and you want to stop gambling, this is a great way to do it. Next, let's open TikTok. As you can see, it cannot connect to the internet. Finally, let's try Instagram. So it looks like Instagram still works. It's going to be one of those cases where it just needs a little bit of time to propagate. We'll check back later. The website still cannot be reached. Alright, not a problem. We'll check back later in the video. That sums up our demo for the content controls. We will be adding more categories in the future. We will also make it so that you can set content controls for each device. So now let's go over to remote access. That's the VPN feature. This is actually really cool. So what I'll do here right now is enable the remote access for the device. So right now, all of your devices connected to this network are protected by PuriFi. But what happens when you leave your house and you can no longer be connected to your Wi-Fi network? Well, that's when the VPN comes in. What the VPN does for you is it lets you connect to your home Wi-Fi from anywhere. So that means you'll get the same protection, privacy, same experience that you would get in your living room because your devices are always connected to home. You're always getting your internet from your house. So now we'll go to set up this phone. And it's easy as that. So now we're actually connected to the VPN of PuriFi. So let me show you a few cool things here. I'll turn the VPN feature off and let's have a look at our IP address. So if I refresh the page here, this is my IP address right now, the IP address of my home network. So once I disconnect from my home network, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's see. Now our IP address will be completely different than it was before. So now if I turn the PuriFi VPN back on, we should have the IP address that we had the very first time when we were still connected to our home network. So now if I test again, you can see that now with our VPN being enabled, we have the same IP address that we had from our home network. So we're basically still connected right back home. Isn't that amazing? So now you get even though I'm not on the home network anymore, and I go to a website and look at some news right here, if I look at some news, I'm basically just going to get all the ad protection and privacy protection that I did before. So we're not going to be seeing any sort of ads anywhere. Let's go see what our protection level is right now. So let's turn off the VPN. So now we're disconnected from our home Wi-Fi. Let's run the test. So now our protection level has gone down to 5%. Let's turn our VPN back on. So now we're connected back to our home network with the privacy and ad protection. Run the test one more time. Actually, let's open a new tab and run it from there. Let's test it here. So now it's already up to, so there you go, 89%. So without the VPN it was 5%, and now with the VPN it's 89%. Back to where we set it when we changed the setting to enhanced instead of aggressive. Now let's also demonstrate how, even though I'm not connected to my home network but I am connected to the VPN, I still am not able to open Instagram or DraftKings. It would be interesting to see if, let's say, TikTok still couldn't connect. It would be interesting to see what would happen if we now opened Instagram again. Hopefully it works already. Alright, so Instagram app still needs a little more time. So now what I want to do is turn off our VPN protection. Open, for example, the news app and show that the ads are back. So there you go. If you don't want ads, just turn it back on and you'll be right back where you left off. Alright, so let's move on to our next feature here. You can add all of your devices. But now the big question is, what happens to the rest of your household? Your family members, your friends that currently do not have access to the VPN. As soon as they leave the house, they will lose the protection. All we have to do is add them to the PuriFi household. You can add your friends, your family members, anybody you like. You can share your Wi-Fi and your protection with them no matter where they are. Here's what you have to do. This is only if they leave home and they still want to take their protection with them. So I will open the PuriFi app here on this phone and send the invites. So for this, we will disable Do Not Disturb so we can see all the push notifications we can get. You'll get notified by everything if your device goes offline, online, if somebody invites you to join their household, etc. So I'll put demo@purifi.io and send the invite. And there it is, the push notification has already arrived. So Adam invited you to use PuriFi. If we now go to devices, we can just accept this. So now we have access to the PuriFi. Demo has joined PuriFi. Great. So now what exactly does this do for us? Let's go back to the protection testing website and run the test. Right now, without the VPN enabled, we have a very low amount of protection. So now what I can do is set up this phone's VPN. There it is. Now we have the VPN active and fire the test one more time. After we have activated the protection. There it is, 90% protection. And remember now, this is with our settings set to balanced and enhanced instead of the maximum protection. Now, even that we're on a completely different network than the one protected by PuriFi, with the help of the PuriFi VPN, we also get the same protection on this phone. So, if I go back here and try to read the news one more time, let's say this one, we should no longer have any of the ads. And that is exactly what's happening. So now this device, being part of the household, also no longer has any ads, trackers, or threats. So you get the same privacy and protection. If we go maybe to CNN, we will also get an ad-free experience. Next, let's see what happens when we no longer want somebody to be part of the household. All we have to do is press the red X and cancel invite. Yep, the device was successfully removed. The device is no longer accessible if you look right here. So we have to turn off the VPN because now that we no longer have access to the VPN, the phone no longer has internet. So in order to get our internet back, we have to turn the VPN off. And yep, we were correctly kicked off of the household. So another setting we'll demonstrate is verifying protection. What you can do is run the checks to see if all of your protections are working as expected. And yep, we got all the check marks. Except for piracy, that's just a cosmetic bug that will shortly be fixed by our team. But it is working just as expected. Alright, so what else can we do in here? You can also change the name of the device. So we can rename it to demo for this test. And once we do that and exit here, the name will be updated to demo. So what else can we do? So I think that mostly covers the device page. Up at the top, you're going to see your daily protection metrics. This updates every single day. And right now, you can see that we've made about 15,000 requests, of which 5,000 were blocked. So we're at a 36% block rate. Our traffic is being blocked in real time. So let's go back to aggressive and maximum and actually go back onto our Wi-Fi network. Great, perfect. And what we'll show you next is how your dashboard looks like. So if you just swipe up here, what you'll see is your live block feed. You can see the same protection metrics below. So this is all happening in real time. Here you can see if the device you're currently on is connected to the VPN or not. It currently is. You can leave the VPN feature on all the time, even if you're on your home network. It won't hurt you. And here you can see your protection level. Right now, all protection levels are at the maximum. If you ever want to pause your protection, all you have to do is press this button right here. That will put the device into pass-through mode and your internet traffic will return to the way it was without our filters. When you pause the protection, the disco ball on both of the devices will fade out. That's how you know PuriFi's protection is currently not active. Now if I go over to our protection testing page, where is it? Right here. And refresh it. So now all of our protection is gone. As we see, the protection has drastically fallen. This is one of those times where it just needs a little longer to propagate. With time, this level will keep going down. That is just simply how networking works. Right now, let's go back to the PuriFi app and turn the protection back on. We are now right back where we were. All of our devices are protected again. Let's just run the protection test again. Let's run the test. Make sure we're on the right network. Alright, so we're already higher than we were, higher than the 32%, and with time this will keep going up. Again, if we test it from a different browser, we might see some better results. So let's rerun the test in Chrome. So now it's already up to 44% and it will keep climbing. You already have the 100% protection. The test just needs a little more time to be able to show it. Next, let's talk about lockdown mode. Lockdown mode will turn all of your filters on and your protection levels to the highest settings. There is actually a fourth level, Ultra, that can only be turned on with lockdown mode. This will break the use of most of the websites, but if you're just trying to do basic things that require the highest possible security, this is a great way to do it. It's something you only want to have turned on in certain situations. And the last thing we need to test is to show you if you want to transfer the device to somebody else, how you can do that. So if you no longer want your PuriFi device, just go to unlink. Right now I still had the VPN turned on. I have to turn it off to get my internet because the unlink will destroy the VPN tunnel. And there it is. I had to disable the VPN because once we pressed the unlink button, the VPN service got shut down and we no longer had internet. So make sure you do that before you unlink. And now, as we can see, the device is back in pairing mode. So now, from a totally different account, I'm going to go to Add Device, press Continue, register the device, Okay, so that was a bug, but it actually worked. The pairing worked perfectly. It looked like our internet connection dropped for a second, but now it's back. Now it will download the latest updates and the latest block list one more time. Update all the databases so you can have the most up-to-date protection. This will take a couple of minutes. We'll wait for that and we are all done with our demo. The disco ball on the device should light up any second now. Alright, there it is. So we now have the full protection on the network again. It should follow up on the phone any second now. There it is. So now the app is all caught up. You have the full suite of protection on your network again, but now the device is owned by a different account. Here's all the blocking taking place: Netflix, analytics. Next, let's take a look at our account settings. So you can change your name here. You can add a profile picture. You can add your phone number for multi-factor authentication. You can change your password, link your social accounts, or delete your account. You also have access to all of your sessions for the logged in account on various devices. And you can easily just close any session you like, just like that. That concludes our testing of PuriFi. I think we did pretty well at showing off all of the features. Most of the things worked exactly as expected. There were a few anomalies that were actually not due to PuriFi not working, simply needing more time to take into effect on the rest of the equipment in the network, like the router or your phone or your browser. There were maybe 2 cosmetic bugs that our team will fix shortly, but other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in.